We are live. And I am so excited to be here with you yet one more Monday morning or Monday afternoon, depending on where you are, possibly even Tuesday. And again, my name is Monica Henderson, and I am the founder and creator of Minklife Motivation. And every single week this year, this has been a challenge for me to come to you every week. This is a huge thing for me to overcome, in that I had been scared to do this for forever. But I am so happy that I have been on this journey with you. And I am so excited to bring you yet one more amazing show to kind of talk about what's happening in the world, in life and business, and to go over entrepreneurial journeys. And so I wanted to just remind you about why we're here. My company is Minklife Motivation, and our mission is to change millions of professionals worldwide, change their lives and grow their businesses by using the Minklife Motivation training system, allowing every person to live healthier, wealthier, and more fulfilled. We focus on personal, business, brand, and network development. And every week we come together to help you get motivated, stay inspired, keep networking, and gain knowledge so that you can live a life that is designed by you, for you, healthier, wealthier, and more fulfilled. And so with that, I am super excited to really kind of kick off the last 3 shows of this Minklife Motivation. But this week in particular, we are going to get into our business section, which is how to evolve your products and services to stay relevant. And it's time to maximize your business. With that, I am so excited to get you motivated with the Motivators of the Week, our panel of professional support experts. We have Marcia McCray, who is the Brand Naked Agency principal. She is also the author of Entrepreneur's Guide series, Busy Entrepreneur's Guide series, and she is also a licensed trainer with Minklife Motivation. Marcia!
Hey, everybody!
And we have Andrea Gewirtz, and she is a health and wealth thrive strategist, founder of WellBeing and Worth, and a Minklife Motivation master trainer. Andrea, darling, how are you?
Cold. I'm in Canada. I'm California cold.
Yeah. And last but not least, we have our guest co-host this week, who is Peggy Warny. She is the owner of Headshots by Peggy. She is a blogger and a dynamic speaker on the next global virtual conference. So excited to have my friend on. Peggy, how's it going, girl?
It is great. I'm so happy to be here. And California cold is no joke. It's like 69 today. It's freezing here.
Oh my gosh.
69 degrees here is different than 69 degrees anywhere else in the world. Just saying.
It's true.
It really is cold though. I had to do that. And I was like, oh no, my ankle told me earlier this morning that it was cold. Okay, so the question for you ladies, and we're going to dive into the topics because, you know, this particular batch is a bit gabby. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Why is it crucial to develop your products and services to stay relevant? I'm going to open the floor, I guess, with Marcia. Why is this important?
Because you want to make money and you want to survive as a business. Honestly, and you want to help people. You want people to, that's it, you guys. Yes, we're in business to help others, but we're also in business to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, as long as you're creating that quality product or service for people that need you, you know, and that's another reason they need what you have. They need to hear what you're saying, the things that you have to offer them to make their lives better. So it's not just about yours and theirs. It's not just about your business. It's about also, it's like a reciprocal relationship, helping others to get ahead to what they need to do too. So
yeah, that's great. Andrea?
Marcia took the wind out of my sail. She's like, yeah, it's to make money. Well, you know how I am always the girl who likes to earn and learn at the same time. So but because I am the person who likes to earn while I learn, I think staying relevant is all about staying just enough ahead to share something new that you put your unique twist on,
Oh, that's
or
good.
your unique ability to synthesize a topic, because that's what all entrepreneurs do, is we're synthesizing topics and things and giving our client, like she said, a new way to digest information. And so staying relevant is just, if you like to learn like I do, is just, keeping on going, hey, I got one more thing to tell you. So I think that is essential for the entrepreneur to stay fresh and relevant, is you keep learning. So the fun is you get to learn as you learn and share what you know. So
that's really good. And it's it reminds me of one of the things I used to tell the members of the team chapters when I was kind of going through. It's like, none of us have unique businesses, right? Nothing we do on earth is absolutely, oh my gosh, I'm the only person on earth who does this, right? And so you do have to kind of evolve. So that's a great point. Peggy?
Well, of course, you leave me last to follow these two great, amazing women. But for me personally, I've seen it in my business, because when I opened my business, I used 35 millimeter camera. I used film. And back then, the average person couldn't afford a camera. Now, literally everyone has a professional camera in their hand. I mean, people are making movies with iPhones. So I've watched how people that, in my profession, that didn't want to evolve and didn't want to stay relevant, lost their business. I was made fun of because I went digital really early. I went digital in 2002, and people are like, oh, that's just a phase. It's just a phase. And, and all those, it's just a phase, aren't in business anymore. So not only, it goes back to what Marcia said. That's how we make money, is to stay relevant, because the earth is, people are moving, the world is changing. We're no longer, just we're a global society now. We have to face it. And if we're not current and relevant, we're going to get left behind. It's moving too fast.
It's true.
Oh yeah. I feel like the as technology evolves, the evolutions of our business and services have to change faster, right? So when before it would take maybe 10 years for you to see a market change, now it seems as though it's like annually there's a market change, just because technology seems to be like exponentially getting faster, better, smaller, more efficient, more user-friendly, right? And so as technology keeps kind of pushing the envelope in that way, it really is interesting. What is really interesting is most people have been forced to do a product development cycle this year with the pandemic, right? Because the pandemic made literally everyone, literally everyone have to do their business in a way that they had never done it before. And so I think this year in particular, especially for Minklife Motivation, like we have had, Marcia and Andrea have been there to see the various iterations, right, of what it is. And actually Peggy too, because I think you saw maybe one step before what it is now. And in the product development of it all. But it has, I feel like every quarter I have a new evolution, right? I have like a new iteration of my business. It gets clearer and simpler and easier to access every single quarter. So if you were at all thinking about changing your services, I feel like the coronavirus put like gasoline on that fire. And those of us who were had a controlled burn already, it just kind of amplified what you were doing. And then those who did not have a controlled burn, it just burned the entire house down. So it really is kind of it really kind of made us all kind of go back and rethink some things for sure. So the evolution of the entrepreneur is we talk about it in being cyclical in Minklife Motivation principles, right? We have this thing called the cycle of rebirth, where we talk about how it goes literally in a circle. You have a new product. You're like, okay, this is what it is. You have to come to understand it and how it pertains to your audience. And then you build on that, and then you sustain that, right? And then you go into you go into a shift, right? And then you have to kind of examine and develop again. And that's one of the cycles that we kind of talk about in Minklife Motivation. And what's interesting is that doesn't just apply to products. It doesn't just apply to relationships, but it actually applies to our journeys themselves. And Marcia has went through a phenomenal change, particularly recently in her own business. And so I am super excited to actually give her the time, because she's been on the show all this time and no one has actually heard her story. And so I want to help keep you inspired by sharing Marcia McCray, our own Marcia McCray's entrepreneurial journey. And she, again, is the principal founder of the Brand Naked Agency. She is the author of the Busy Entrepreneur Guide series. She's a Minklife Motivation trainer, and she is the collector of the Nutcrackers. I believe there's 34 of them. And so that is a little fun fact about her. But Marcia, please share with us and the audience, what's your story? What is your entrepreneurial journey?
So my journey starts off with, I took a long time. My journey took, first of all, it took several twists, turns, and major shifts to get to where it is today. So I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. So I have obviously the Brand Naked Agency, which is one of my 4 brands of Marcia McCray Omnimedia. And so that brand, I'm going to focus on that right now. I've always been a creative. I've attended art school and art college, and I got my first taste of entrepreneurialism when I was selling art at Artscape, one of the United States largest outdoor festivals in Baltimore, Maryland. And so I sold my artwork there, and I love designing my business so much. I love designing that whole entrepreneurial feat thing, that I decided, I felt led to leave my full-time job and to start my business full-time. And so a few years into my full-time business, I got a bit antsy, and there was a struggle. And the struggle was that I was doing design projects for companies, for different clients that wanted stuff that was surface marketing. And that was not cutting it for me. They were happy with their products, but at their products of their posters or whatever materials they needed, but it didn't really make me joyful. Okay. And it's like, it needs to be, like I said earlier, it needs to be a reciprocal thing, between your business as well as the customer. So I was beginning to understand more about myself. And what I found out was that the customers, my clients, they were having problems connecting their values and principles to their businesses. And so that's what led to the surfacey tactics. So shift number 1, I then, right then and there, I decided to start a branding agency and just transform the illustration design into a branding agency, where I still offer illustration and design. I find that it's more important to have the principles interwoven into everything that you do in your business, okay? And 2015 rolls around, and I took my son to Paris, France to drop him off at school. And what I found out, shift number 2, I became more intentional and I saw clearer. Okay. So the things I wanted in life, and which was traveling abroad, which was one of them. That was one of the things I began designing my life with intentionality. And so as I did that, and as time went on, 2018 rolls around, and I started another brand, which is my e-commerce brand. Well, I was hiding. That was shift number 3. I was hiding because I did not want to be seen. I was getting caught up into, the strategy and let me get these systems in place and blah, blah, blah. That was my excuse. But you guys, that was not the reason. I think it was I was just hiding. I didn't want to be seen for whatever reason. Well, part of it was because I had this problem of being seen, because I was scared of being successful. Okay. So I decided end of 2019, I was tired of being broke. And I said, okay, that's it. 2020, I am going to get my butt in gear, and I'm going to go out there and start showing my face. So my friend and I, Melanie, we did Dialogues, Uncover, and Define. And we did a series of six episodes where we interviewed people. And that was the first time I was live, you know, in like showing my face. And as time went on within that series, I started getting really comfortable and feeling in my, like, just, I knew how to express myself and blah, 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 right? So then Andrea, my lovely friend of high school, I'm not going to say how many years, but it's been a long time. She says, "Oh, Marcia, let's go. Why don't you come and talk at this conference? It's going to be a great experience, and you really should talk there, you know, speak at the conference." I was like, okay, all right. So I was feeling comfortable. Okay. So I was like one of the speakers there. Changed my life. Shift number 3. Part of shift number 3 is that mindset thing. Okay. So it allowed me, I realized when I did that conference that it required me to go to another level. So somewhere, if you're planning to expand your business, your mindset will have to expand with it. And steps in Minklife Motivation, LLC, changed my life, everybody. And this is not supposed to be a commercial, but I'm just saying it, the Principles program has helped me so much that I had like I said, I had the problem of wanting to be seen. And I knew that I was starting to come out of my shell, but Minklife Motivation helped me, the principles helped me to uncover some things that I had no idea were part of the reason for why I was acting the way I was, or I didn't want to be seen. And so within the program, it was really good. So within the program, I went through the Life Calibrator program. And that is where there were things as an entrepreneur I was blinded to. All the years, the 10 years that I've been an entrepreneur, there were things that I did not see, but going through that program had helped me to see my blind spots. And those blind spots were, and this is common with a lot of entrepreneurs, we work ourselves to death and we don't actually have the things like we don't focus on the the whole person, our entire being. We kind of ignore like our health or we might ignore things that we really want. We'll be like, oh, we'll get it later. I'll get it later. I'll travel later. But that's not healthy. And so with that, the Life Calibrator program, I was able to go through the different sections, the different aspects of it, which is, I'm not going to botcher it because there are like 5,000 things in there, but, but I'm just saying that self part was the part that allowed me to focus on creating that life even more. And it also helped me to scale my business, you guys, because I had up to the point of this year, like the very beginning of this year, I had tons of content, so much. But having the Minklife Motivation system, the principles helped me to organize all that content and organize my entire business for scaling. So now, you guys, I've got an HR person. I've got a person that's doing that's my admin. Shout out to Leanne. But anyway, so, you know, those are things I would have never have dreamt of. I had plans. I had plans of having my course, having webinars. It was a whole bunch of stuff, writing books and everything. That was my goal for this. Those were my goals for this year. And you guys, every single last one of them was accomplished because I went through the Principles program. I'm sorry, Monica, I'm so sorry. I can't get around saying it, but that changed my life. And that, seriously, that mindset thing, just understand, going through the self especially, that was the part that was really powerful. And I'm not talking about the free view. I'm talking about the real program, the hardcore program that really changed just everything for me. Everything. I would still be in the planning. I'd still be in the planning right now if it were not for Minklife, because I wouldn't have had my butt pushed to get out there and get myself together. And thank God for Andrea. Yes.
What's funny is sometimes we always talk about, well, I always talk about how you got to be either pushed by pain or pulled by a vision, right? And when you're pushed by that pain, it is literally like getting someone kicking you dead in your back, and you just get the wind knocked out of you, but you move, right? And then there's being pulled by the vision, where you know where you're going and you're making those decisions towards that. And so I remember the first time you went through the program, the short version of it, and you were like, I was not expecting that.
I wasn't.
I was not expecting that. I just thought you were going to show me this little cute program, like just a little cute something. And I was going to be like, oh yeah, girl, okay, that's cute. And you were like, wait a minute, I need to know more. And then I remember you going through the South section. And I think at the end of it, we always kind of have like a summary at the end. And I believe at the end of it, you said, I had forgotten about me. And I remember very specifically you saying that I had forgotten about me. I forgot that I love to cook and to garden. And I need to set some dates for myself. And I remember that for me, that was the first turning point in the program for you. I think everything after that just became a part of kind of the evolution. But that to me, when working with you on this program, was I forgot about me. And then one of the things I think you had said was that you were going to do dates where you cook different things. And you really kind of get in the kitchen, because you used to love to cook and you hadn't cooked in forever, because you would just like grab something to eat and go back to work. And so I think that I first of all, I was ecstatic, because I was like, a big wig like Marcia is going to be in my program. But so here's what it is, guys. I want to tell you, okay, for everybody out there in the Facebook world, we're all children pretending to be adults, right? On a daily basis, right? And even the bigwigs are children pretending to be adults, right? So when we meet people, we have this kind of thought of like, oh, they got it all together. They're like amazing at what they do, and I can't possibly affect any change in this person. And I just hope that they like what I am. We all have that. Like everybody has that. Everybody goes through that little wee bit of imposter of like, I don't know, they're gonna see right through me. They're gonna see that I don't got my stuff together. Right? We all have it. And so what was funny is when Marcia and I decided to work together, her helping me kind of take this beast of a program that I didn't know what to do with, and Andrea was still trying to wrap her brain around, like, I don't even know how I can help you, lady, but like, I'm gonna help you, but it's a lot. I got to figure it out, right? and kind of walking through the Brand Naked Agency and Marcia's program that she does for developing a brand. It was just this moment where we both got to evolve together. And I've seen you change so much. You've seen me change so much. We both have seen Andrea change so much. Andrea's seen both of us change so much. Peggy's over here off to the side, like, I don't know what's happening over there, but I'm seeing some changes happening, right? Like, this year has been kind of evolution, like this really evolution has kind of picked up. And so it was remarkable to see your journey. Just this year, I didn't get to see the first parts of your journey. That was Andrea's pleasure to be able to watch that. You evolved from high school to this person, Marcia. But this past year, you were definitely not scared to get in front of people. That's for sure. And when you talk about being naked in your brand and kind of showing up raw and authentic in who you are, you embody that now. It's not just something that you are teaching. And so I just want to say kudos to you.
Thank you.
I can only do so much, right? The program
I'll take credit.
Yes, because without Andrea, I would have never known about you or the program.
Exactly. But you had to do the work. I'm gonna be
No,
honest. There are people who
yeah.
tried to show up in the program and didn't do the work and was like, "This is too hard. I'm only halfway
That's true.
show up," and they didn't see the results. And so thank you for sharing your journey, ladies. Did you have anything you wanted to share about Marcia's journey?
I got you, girl. No.
I'm so excited to hear that. I know I don't want to just plug the program, but it was so good to hear it from Marcia's point of view, how it's changed her, because I know when you came into my studio, when we started recording all that stuff, I didn't know what you were doing. I mean, we've been friends on a personal level and not so much like you knew I was a photographer, you know, I did this and that, but you know, we knew what each other did, but we were never deep into what was going on. And so you're like, hey, I need this recorded. I need, you know, video, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, come on over. And, you know, and I sat there and I was just like, and at the end of the thing, I was like, so tell me about this program. Like, how do I get involved in this? And so it's really cool to hear, you know, Marcia's story. And, you know, I feel like sometimes, and I like what you said, Monica, that, you know, we idolize people. We think that they've got their stuff together. None of us have our stuff together. We're all winging it. We are
It's
all
so true.
And nobody is above like I'm already reached everything I don't need to learn, or I learn from people all the time. I love learning, and it doesn't matter if you've had as much experience as me or not. You may have had a different experience. I may not learn from everything you have, but there's always something that's going to benefit. And this program, though, it's like the whole thing, it was just like,
Mm-hmm. It really was.
yeah.
Is still.
Well, the reality was like, so I mean, I've told the story on the show before of how I had hunted Andrea and duped her into being a part of Minklife Motivation. You're going to be mine. And she in turn did the same thing to Marcia.
I know. Well,
one conference it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be.
If people were to say, I mean, 2020 was a crazy year, wasn't it? And I'll go, I just giggle because I just recently I got up and was like, I really do need to get outside more. But I've been in this, I call this the VRL. It's Minklife VRL, Minklife Virtual Real Life. And it's of course really real life at the moment. And we've just had the pleasure of like playing in a sandbox and being like, hey, come on over. I got something
It's true. It's true.
And so when Marcia, it's true. Similarly, I had known Marcia for a really long time. She's mentioned high school. I keep denying, but okay, high school. And we reconnected at a reunion of many decades. And I then started looking for her on social media and became very enraptured with her brand. I was just like, she's got to help me realize my vision, though I had no vision yet. But, you know, she put me through my paces and I was like, dang, this girl's more of a taskmaster than I am. Gotta work with her. Like, gotta get in there and dig deep. And so when Monica comes to me with Minklife and we need speakers, I was like, I know somebody. Because I was so glad that I knew somebody that wasn't in health and wellness. I was like, oh, wait, I've got a contact. She's in branding. And so I was like, gotta do this as a favor to me. Do it now, right? Like, and I barely gave her any direction because I had barely any myself. But so I think that's been the great thing about COVID. And now I can't imagine Mondays without you girls.
I know.
Yeah.
I can't either. I know.
I mean, when we're, you know, today's conversation is really kind of all about product development. And a lot of people kind of, when they're building their business, the product development part is not necessarily the part they focus on, right? They want to go straight to the marketing. I got to tell people what I'm trying to do, right? And they don't necessarily spend the time to actually clearly develop a product and a service. And if you are a service-oriented person, right? Like let's say what you are offering is a service, you have just as much work to develop that product as someone who's actually going to hand over a product to someone else. And so my own personal journey with, getting to the point where I wasn't even ready for Marcia until I met her, right? Was I had to actually spend 8 months developing what it is I was trying to put out in the world in a way that could be digestible for by people, right? And Andrea and Marcia are both information hoarders as well. I hang around with nothing but like amazingly smart women. And the problem is we collect a lot of information.
Oh, yeah.
When we're amazingly smart. And so, when you get all the information, you're like, oh my gosh, I have all this information. I got to get to the world, right? And you are trying to shove it down people's throats. We had to figure out a way to get it digestible, so that people could have it in small bites and actually kind of really use it. And what's funny is, as I went through my own product development, I was also helping the two of them with their product development, and I think Peggy as well. Didn't we start on a course for you as well? But it was about kind of taking the massive amount of information, and now how do we make it digestible for other people? And I do have some clever ways of getting around that process and making it a little easier. But once you guys say that process of kind of like developing the product actually helped long term with the profitability of what you were trying to actually sell?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah,
absolutely. I think
Absolutely.
in doing after the conference and then understanding there's these principles and then going through them so I could talk about them, I found this whole section of the business maximizer and the brand builder really, really crucial to where I was, like you said, at the right time. Things show up, people, at the right time when you need them. You just have to be open to hearing them.
It's true.
And I remember getting into the part about product lines and services, and I was like, oh my gosh, and not falling into a coma, but kind of going, holy crap. My sequencing was it was a manifest that it wasn't in order. And I really am grateful to the program, those two modules, to really be going, I get it. Now, if I want to make something, boom, boom, boom. I have a system and I have a way that checks off all the points. And then I get to elaborate based on whatever I want to talk about. But it is definitely, I'll never forget, like when it's like, I need a class. And she's like, okay, here we go. Boom. And then working through, again, my information, making it digestible for other people, not assuming people know. That's been probably one of the best ways to talk about how this program is so beneficial. And I know that helped Marcia. And then we were living, breathing, I guess, test dummies for the principles for you, Monica, and seeing what didn't work, and then having me go, what do you think that didn't work? I'm like, no, we need to tweak it this way. So it's been great being on the inside, outside, and around side, looking at the iterations we've been through. And now it's getting through its paces. We've got some students. It's all exciting. And they're putting us through our paces again, but in a really good way. I think in a great way to see how people are taking this and really making it their own and running with it and being. I think we talked about nurturing last week. Everyone on the call was a big time nurturer, so it was really to see this evolution in another. It's like with your kids or anything that you're curating, to see it come to life has been really. I can't even imagine how you feel some days, Monica.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like adjacent and I'm all excited.
I'm pirate. No, I'm just playing.
No, we are.
This was
Peggy, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I think one of the other things that you may not realize, but like how one of the things that your program really helped me with was I had all this knowledge and I had all these things, but to actually focus it and direct it. And I didn't know that I wanted to do some of the things that I ended up like, oh, I already do that and I'm really good at it. Why don't I make money at it? Like,
it's true.
I think we all had like,
I had that moment. Like, yes, those moments. Yep.
Yeah, and that's part of, because we all get so focused on one thing that the obvious is, just passes us by. And, I think that's something that's also, amazing to watch develop.
Yeah. And just organization and scaling too. I mean, I have to say about that, because that's another plus. I said that earlier, but I'm just going to reiterate that because like I said, like Monica said, I was an information hoarder. And so is Andrea. And so she and we both, yes, you are. Yes, you are. and so, but we used the principles to the folder structure of our computers and everything to get that organized. And it just allows for that scalability. So it's not just if you don't know what's going on. So
yeah, daily I still product development, right? Like product development is not something that happens once. Okay, I made it. I've arrived. Woo! And then you go on and you just done. But it's like literally I approach product development in every time something's wrong, I have to reevaluate. And not that I'm going to change everything in big spell swoops, right? But if someone says, I'm not sure or I don't understand, I go back to the drawing board of like, okay, well, what is it about this that they don't understand? How can I make it simpler? And the idea is if a person who it's not an English first language person, right, who maybe doesn't understand the context of life and the way that I'm approaching it, right, can come through the program and understand it, then yes, I've won. But if that same person can't figure that out, then it's probably harder for some other people as well. And so it was really important to me when I was doing the program and developing the program and trying it on people, the betas of it all, that they were varied in their in who they are, right? They were varied in their level of understanding of cognitive behavioral therapy, behavior modification, and NLP practices, right? Like either they knew a lot about it or they didn't know anything about it, and it had everybody in between. I had therapists go through and try the program themselves and tell me that it was sound. I had people who were like, just trying to figure out their lives go through the program. And so for me, it was really kind of about, I want to find the person who breaks it, right? The person who this does not work for, that's the person who I need to develop the product for, is the one who is going to break it, right? The one who's like, none of this works. This is all hogwash. That is the person that I am actually doing my product development for, not the ones who love it. If they love it, they're going to love it anyway, right? But the ones who it doesn't work for, that is actually the exact person who I'm trying to fix it for on a regular basis. And if you can kind of go into your product development in that way, and I know Andrea and Marcia and I both did that, and Peggy as well. When we went through some of these things, we were like, okay, yeah, for someone who's smart, they'll get this, right? But for someone who has this past knowledge or this understanding in their back pocket, they'll get this. But it's the person who doesn't know anything about this. Will they be able to get it? And it's one of the reasons why I don't use any jargon. And there's one of the reasons why we don't use any businessy terms. You do business 101 in the program. You literally go through the fundamentals of business in the program. And we never talk business. It literally is just questions that you can answer yourself. Why do you want to do this? How does it feel for you to get up and do this in the world? What are your emotions behind when things are successful? What are your emotions behind when things are not? What are the activities that you do that kind of lend to that experience? And so I had one business person who came in with their business mindset, and they're like, well, this would be great if you did a SWOT analysis. And I was like, we do a SWOT analysis. You just never knew you went through a SWOT analysis.
It's true. It's true.
We do a SWOT analysis every single time. And so for those who were waiting to hear through the Business Maximizer, waiting to hear all of the jargon words that let you know you went through business school, you'll never find them because they are so buried intrinsically into the basic fundamental questions that are being asked that you have to answer anyway, that allow you to actually get over the fear, because it's really just the fear of I'm not smart enough to do businessy stuff, right? I don't go to business school. I don't know anything about that. I know about my passion, right, Peggy? I know about headshots and I know about how to use these different tools to make it better, but I don't know nothing about that business stuff, right? That is like, get away. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to do my art, right? And so the program really kind of takes some of that away. And that was intentional on my behalf to make sure that anyone who went through it, they're going through business school, but they didn't feel like they had to have a past knowledge of something to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So got to move on. You know how we can talk this batch right here. So we do have to move on. We have one other question. Thank you, Marcia. We that was all based on your story. We really not progressed this show along at all. I'm doing a horrible job today. So as we kind of keep networking and really kind of connecting to the experts, I wanted to kind of use this statement of, if your supply is not in demand, then demand to reevaluate your supply. And this is really kind of a statement from our principles program that I have put in to kind of help people frame the understanding about your products and services. And we talk about them in 3 different ways: functional, reliable, and accessible. And how there really is, your products should be developed to make sure that they hit these 3 things. Because if they're not functional, then what's the point in them existing? If they're not reliable, then you're going to have a poor retention rate. But if they're not accessible, no one will ever get them. And so with that, ladies, I have the question. How does that actually directly affect your profitability? We talked about that it does, but how can that be impactful in your profitability?
How can it not? I mean, I look at it as if we just, for everyone listening, maybe we haven't been linear in it, but we've really talked about why are you creating products and services? One, to make money. And then that last question is really about the how many ways are you maximizing the product to make money? You know what I mean? It's the cleverness of, are you only doing one thing, one way to make money, or are you doing one thing and selling it 3 different ways to make an income? Because it's something that I've been talking over recently with the beloved and myself. We talk all the time. You would think, oh my gosh, how could we? But we're always like, again, testing, improving. And we were just talking about the conversation of solving problems for people, and when they're ready, and meeting them in the place that they are when you first meet them. And it's not easy to come in and be like, hey, I got this great program, come and buy it. Hey, we don't expect you to do that with Minklife Motivation. You got to come check us out, come to our conference. We have a free class. Like, we have lots of ways for you to come and get to know us and make sure we don't bite, we won't steal your money, we are going to deliver on your services. So then when we're like, hey, you want to do some more? You're like, yes. And that's where knowing the breadth and scope of your product allows you to meet people where they are and make them feel good and bring them along on a journey. And if you think about all the great products out there, they all do that. So what was it? Functional, reliable, and
Accessible.
And I think guilty as charged. I'm like, I got this great thing, come do it. Right. Okay. Not happening. Right. And so I have had to learn through, some people are ready, but most aren't. So like, how to get people closer to being ready, especially when it comes to your health or comes to your business. These are all really personal things. So you want to get to know and like the person. So you have to have monetizable ways along the way to make the journey amenable to both of you, because it's not fair to, I think the entrepreneur who's like doing all this great work and never getting any sort of recognition through remuneration, right? Some money, transfer of belief that, yes, you're doing a great job. I mean, here's a little something. And then for the client going, you know what, I'm going to come back for more. And so that is really near and dear. And as you can probably tell everybody, when I really internalize it, that's when things really change for me. And that was sort of going through the program, testing, improving, and working in it too. So, sorry guys, but it's been on my mind a lot as I'm like making different ways to like attract and get people. And so I definitely think that is the other secret sauce to your business. You might have great stuff, but you gotta know how to share it.
Yeah. Peggy?
I love that. You may have great stuff, but you have to know how to share it. But you also, again, I feel like an old lady here, because what keeps coming to mind when you say these words is, you know, I used to sell prints. I used to sell beautiful prints that people hung on their wall, and people don't do that anymore. And I love the way a photograph feels and smells and looks and on a hard copy, but they don't do that anymore. They share on Facebook and social media. And so, you know, I had to come to a point where I had to stop holding on to something that was no longer functional for my clients. I wanted to hold on to it and say, no, buy my prints, they're beautiful, but it wasn't useful for them. So, you know, I had to, which kind of goes back to our first, I had to adapt and, you know, become more relevant. But that, I believe that's a physical, what I'm talking about is literally a hardcore physical. This is a product I sell. I sell my service, I sell myself, but I also, you know, so I had, what else do I do? You know, how can I still be creative and give people relevant things that they're going to treasure and love and use and do it differently? And I think that that's the key, is to really to read the crowd in a big global in a global way. Like, where are the trends going? What do I do? What am I good at? And where does it fit in my world? And it may not be what you want it to be, but then once you step out, jump off that cliff, because that's ultimately, one of you said it, and I can't remember, I think it was Marcia, fear is the ultimate, like, it's the fear of what's going to happen if, like, this is what I know, and I know I'm not making money doing it, and I know my business isn't growing, but it's comfortable because I know how to do this. And when you go ahead and take that leap and realize, oh, and look, I'm also good at this, and I'm making money now, and my business is growing, and people love me, and they're calling me, you know, so it's just, you know, sucking it up and getting over that fear. So I think this program, like, everything kind of relates to everything. So that's my 2 cents. Okay, probably 6.
Yeah. So, you know, what's really interesting too is because, like, you know, there are probably lots of people out there who know that they have to revamp. They're feeling like you are like, but I love this, and it's not what people are buying, right? And so you know, you have a friend like me who's like, girl, get over it, right? But then not everybody has a friend who's like that in their corner.
But I like the way they smell.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, print them out for yourself, but ultimately you can't make no money doing it, so let's keep going. But the reality is, it kind of goes back to one thing that Marcia always talks to people about, and that's their mission statement, right? Your mission and your vision. What exactly were you setting out to do in the first place when you decided you were going to go in this medium? And if you can remember, right, is one of the things that Minklife Motivation helps people do, is remember why you do this in the first place, right? And what value you give to the world. And if you can remember why you do this and what value you give to the world, you can then ask yourself, what other ways can I provide that same value and do the same type of thing? Because it may bring you great joy to have those prints, but isn't the initial joy is to have them see themselves in a beautiful way? And if that's the case, then there are other ways that you can do that, right? And so you came to that conclusion before a lot of the people in your industry did, but that really is why kind of doing the fundamental development of your products and services and doing the fundamental development of your actual business are so key. Most people take a mission statement, they write it, they put it on their business plan, they apply for the loan, they never see it again.
Yep, that's it.
I'm one of the few people who say my mission statement at least 8 times in one day. And the reason why is because that's how I introduce myself. I am motivated, right, to help millions of professionals worldwide change their lives and grow their business by using my training system. Now, every single solitary stitch of what we do in this world is back on that same 8 months worth of products that I had developed. And it all gets put in so many different ways that are tangible because of that. And so when you're doing your product development, if it's out of alignment with your actual mission statement, you did not do the work, right, to actually make sure that everything you're doing, so you don't get the shiny object syndrome. Woo,
Mhm.
oh wait, I need this tool, I need that, I need this, I need that. If you know what you are setting out to do, right? Which in Peggy's case, it's helping people realize how amazingly beautiful they are, right? In Andrea's case, is helping them realize that there is a dis-ease that they don't have to have in health and wealth. And Marcia, letting people be able to stand out in their own brand, right? And if everything that you are doing goes back to that mission, and every single product does the litmus test of, does this align with my mission, then you actually have something. But the minute that you put a product in that doesn't align to that mission, it absolutely changes your whole entire business, and you will find yourself absolutely not profitable, right? It'll be harder for you to access. It'll be more work for you to do in the first place because it doesn't add up to the same things you are already doing. And it really does, it confuses your audience of like, okay, so now you're selling, like if Andrea decided all of a sudden she was going to start selling, I don't know,
headshots.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
It would be like, where did this come from? Like, super random, right? And it's like, because it has to really align your products.
But
have to align.
I could align with a
Exactly.
photographer to do boudoir for your new you.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly. And so a lot of business, especially in the Minklife Motivation Principles program, especially when we're working with licensees, a lot of them have collected a lot of these ways to make money, right? And the first thing we do is, okay, you got that. We're gonna put it in a box, set it off to the side. But what do you really want to do? And we really define that clear vision of what it is you want. And then now, how do those products support your vision? Because if they're not supporting your vision, then it shouldn't be your product. It's just a habit or a hobby or something you do for fun, but it's not actually a part of your business strategy. So soapbox, I'm getting off of it now. Marcia.
Thanks for taking up everything. But anyway, she took all the stuff. So anyway, I just say the principles, like, just having your principles and values intertwined with everything inside your business. That mission, vision, all that needs to be like intertwined from the inside out. So any business strategy, any product development, anything that you do, any and everything, that's why it's so important. Yes, people you hire, developing your company culture, all this, your operations, the way you do things. That's why it's so important to understand who you are and what you stand for, because they are such huge factors in determining like who you're going to collaborate with even, So, I mean, and I have to say, once you have that, are you able to deliver that product in the way that you had outlined for your business, like the idea, the vision and mission, like Monica said? And then also, is that user experience, are they able to use it properly, based upon what based upon what you wanted it to do. So like, I mean, it's just things like that. And the systems, like I said, those systems need to be actually used to create that product, and not just something like out of the blue, like Monica and Andrea said. So, I mean, unless you want to do, and honestly, unless you don't care about a sustainable business, if you don't care about that, there are some people that just want to make a quick buck, then you can't do that, but if you want sustainability,
I don't want to work with them.
Seriously, if you want to make a quick buck, fine, that's your prerogative. But my thing is deliverability, usability, are they able to use it? And like Monica said, that accessibility, and they all require systems in order to create a profitable product. And they all need to align with your mission and vision and your business objective. So.
Yeah, we do the litmus test, right? So when we did the conference kind of came first, and then the development of the overarching, because I was working with Marcia and Andrea on really kind of defining those words of the mission and vision for Minklife Motivation. And once we did that, everything that did not align ended up falling away. And what was really funny is
get rid of it.
When I had to redevelop the conference, right? And I had to figure out, okay, what exactly is this going to be, this conference? we went back to one of the lines in the vision, which is to create a community that generates economic opportunity for our affiliates. And so then I had to go, well, how am I doing that? Am I actually doing that with these conferences, or is there a way that I can do that better? And that's when we created the profit sharing module with the conference, where the speakers actually make the money on the conference and they get an opportunity to actually generate income, which is a part of our vision. And when it came down to like how we were going to structure that, it was really important that I was aligning with the vision that I had set out. Now, that vision was created before we were monetizing the conference in any kind of a way. It was still free, and it was still free for everybody involved, because I was still trying to figure it out, and we still wasn't sure how to do what, when, where, what, and how, right? But then when it came down to it, and it was like we were looking at developing the conference itself as a product, because it was so very valuable and it deserved to be monetized.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can we do this in a way that still aligns with what our vision was? And the vision was that we create economic opportunities. Everybody gets to eat at our table. And so that then became the culture, right, behind the conference. That then informed us on how we did the pay structures. And we make sure that the speakers get way more money than we do, right? We just cover the cost. And so it was just so many different ways that when it came down to that mission and vision and developing those products, that when you have that very clear mission and vision of what it is you're trying to achieve, it's substantial, that your decisions almost make themselves. They almost literally just say, no, that's not in alignment. And it begins to make itself, and you don't have a lot of choices. There's only the one way, which is the way that your vision and your mission had aligned it to be. And I would not have a phenomenal mission and vision if it were not for these two women, because we poured over every single word for hours on end on Zoom. This chair was brand new when I first started the pandemic. I had just remodeled my room. I had it reupholstered, and I worn the crap out of this chair because of all those hours of pouring over all of our products. I mean, we were counting the other day, and between myself, Marcia, and Andrea, we've developed, was it 10 brands between the three? I think
it was 12. Wasn't it 12
brands,
you guys? I think about 12.
Between 3 people, 12 different brands came out. But now the monetization of it, the profitability of all of them are substantially higher, and that you don't end up with people saying, I don't know.
Yeah,
as much. True. I get yes all the time, because we spent that hard work, right, being poor a little bit for a while to develop. Yes.
It's because they see the value. People don't mind paying for value. Poor people don't mind paying for value. Rich people don't mind paying for value.
That's right. That's it.
That's the one absolute thing that when you give people value, they will invest in it. If you give valuable things for free, most people aren't going to value it. Unfortunately, a lot of times you're oh, well, I'm going to do this for free. Well, they don't get anything out of it because they haven't invested in it. So the reason that you're getting yeses now is because you spent that time, you did that work, hey, this is valuable. Like, I have tested and tried it. It is valuable. I know it's valuable, and you're confident in it.
Yeah.
That's true.
The only way to get over that imposter syndrome of, is somebody gonna buy this, right, is to actually put it out there and put a tag on it and fall for it. Alana says, you're the only person I know who's willing to fail publicly as quick as possible. And I'm like, yes, that is literally the fastest way to scale. You want to scale your business? Fail often and fail publicly, right? And then be transparent about the fact that you failed and that it didn't work. And here are all the ways I know it didn't work, right? And then people are like, oh no, I get it. You learned something from that. I will still work with you, right? And so for me, that's what it was. Even this show was a product that we had to develop, right? And I remember having a conversation with Alana, and we're like, it's time to go, but I'll just finish this last little story. And I was having a conversation with her, and she was like, you sure you don't want to try it a little while and practice a few times before you tell people you're doing it? I'm like, nope, because if I don't tell people I'm doing it, I won't actually show up all the way. So I got to show up with my game face and get better fast. And now we have this space that we get to spend with all of you on a weekly basis to kind of talk through some of these business things, and we have a blast. And you know, people, when we are not here, people are asking us, what happened last Monday? Where were you? And that is a testament to kind of us just trying it and doing it and failing publicly, right? Yeah, failing, like flailing publicly. And so so we are, yeah, it's time for us to go. I'm so sad. But, as we kind of go to finish up today's show, we want to kind of ask those of you who we didn't get any questions this week, but if you have any questions about your personal life, your business, your branding, or your networking, feel free to actually go to Minklife Motivation live /live. And drop us a line and let us know what you're thinking. Also, if you're a part of the Entrepreneurs Living Healthy, Wealthy, and Fulfilled Facebook group, you can drop your questions there. I believe Alana has already dropped in a spot for you to do that, to park your questions. We would love to answer them. Clearly, we have the gift of gab, and we'll give you all of the backstories and blueprints, and we'll let you know in an honest and real way. And now it's time for our announcements, because we have talked a storm. And so in the Minklife Motivation community, what is happening? So Marcia, Miss Marcia McCray, what is happening in your world, baby?
So in February 2nd, 2021, the Busy Entrepreneur's Guide Toolkit series will be coming out, volume 1. And that's like going to be awesome, you guys. So I'll keep you guys posted. So I also want you to also, if you need help developing yourself, your mission statement and vision statement, that kind of thing, your foundation, please just hit me up. Alana, put my stuff in the chat, please. And also Uncover, you can also check out my Uncover brand assessment, and it's bit.ly//assess my brand. So those are, you know, if you need help, you can also do that by yourself. And then if you want, you can contact me. But Alana will put my crap in the chat.
Okay, and Peggy?
I am starting something very new thanks to Monica and her program. I am now doing consultations with people to help them understand how to use their headshots as a marketing strategy.
Oh,
what colors to wear, what mindset to be in, and all that. So this is brand new. And since we're all balling here, Alana, could you just put my information in the chat there?
Alana, she's like, oh my God, these people.
Like, no.
My assistant, please.
My assistant.
Alana is the producer of the show.
Yep,
she's
our the producer. Yep, she is. Boy, is she.
And Andrea, what about you?
Well, I'm gearing up for the holidays like everyone, and I'm gearing up for the reparations you're going to make after the holidays. So since people are planning to be bad because that's all they can do, like my kids even said to me, they're like, all we can do is eat this holiday. I said, no, we can take walks, we can go hiking. No, let's talk about what we're going to eat. And so if that's you, have at it, have a good time, but know that on January 22nd, I'll be opening the doors again to the reset everyone will probably want. And so I'm going to have some upcoming webinars about that to talk about my teaching style and things like that. You can get to know me in that context. And those will start coming out and they'll be dripped in the group and the plan like that, but I'm still setting it all up. But they're coming. I just know that the drop dead date you're going to get in there with me, it's going to be Friday, the 22nd of January. That's happening for sure. And then
if you're interested in taking the Minklife Motivation Life Calibrator and you want to do it from a health focus, take it with Andrea's cleanse. Or the reset, I'm not sure what it's called, but you get both the health education of the functional nutrition that she brings to the table.
Yeah.
And you also get the Minklife Motivation principles that you work through to kind of balance and reset your life at the same process, in the same process. So if you want to get a twofer, that is definitely the way to go for sure.
And it's worth it.
Last but not least, in the Minklife Motivation community, we are having our last Power Partner Mastermind Mixer. And it's on Thursday at, I'm sorry, this is supposed to say 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can meet the network of Minklife Motivators. You can share your commercial about what's happening in your business and what you're trying to do to level up in the 2021. And you can also understand how you can grow with your business with Minklife Motivation. And so you'll get a better understanding. You'll get to network. It's a win-win-win situation. Even if you want to come and just meet some amazing people that have been curated by this batch of amazing people, definitely something for you to come. These will be happening every week, as far as I can hold my eyeballs open enough on 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to facilitate all of you. So please, if you don't make this one, then you can make the first one in January. We'll be coming back strong then. I am so excited to be saying next week on Minklife Motivation, we will be talking about how to craft a great brand story. Aww. And Marcia is going to miss it out, but Peggy will be right back in that seat. Hello.
And leave comments and tell Monica to invite me back all the time.
Yes.
Leave comments.
She's campaigning to be a permanent co-host. So if you think Peggy should be a permanent co-host,
yeah, type right now, everybody in the comments, bring Peggy back.
Bring Peggy back.
Put repost. So if you're watching it live, put #live, I want Peggy back. And if you are watching the repost, put #repost, I want Peggy back. And we'll start the campaign to get Peggy on the show full time.
Okay, bring Peggy back.
My favorite slide, which means we have survived yet another Monday together. I want to thank all three of my girls, Marcia, Andrea, and Peggy. Obviously, my headshots are by Peggy and my branding is by Marcia. So thank you both. And I want to remind everybody to activate the power within, activate the vision within, and sharing is caring. So if you enjoyed this, if you thought we were nuts and you wanted to show off how crazy these women are and how they show up on Mondays and just kind of lose their stuff live on Facebook, please share. Hit the share button. Or if you think this was valuable and you want someone else in your life to hear the information that we shared, please share, because sharing is caring and it's the season of sharing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us yet one more week. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Have a fabulous, amazing time. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.